Hello again and welcome back to CIT tutorials. Today I'm going to show you the outliner. This is a pretty useful window. Okay, so to start off, here's the outliner window. Basically shows you your different things you have in your scene. I don't have anything in my scene yet, but okay. So if you see these weird plus signs and they're annoying you, I think by default they're off, but you can go and display shapes. For a project I was working on the other day, I had to have it on, so that's why it's on. So this is probably what it looks like for you guys by default. Okay, so we're going to add some things in our scene. Maybe I'll leave that up. So I'm going to throw a ground plane in, holding shift, make a cube, hold shift just in the middle, and a sphere, and a cone. Okay, so if you see in the outliner window, it created several different objects. There's the plane, the cube, sphere, and the cone. The P stands for polygon, and the number stands for what number of object it is. If I made another cube, it would be P cube 2. And you can rename them. I could say this is cube. If you put spaces in, it automatically replaces spaces with underscores because Maya doesn't support spaces. But you don't have to manually put underscores in. Something nice to know. Makes renaming things easier. Okay, so say I want to group these three objects together by hitting Command G. We'll group them together. And now you can see that now they're grouped together and it made a group that you can expand and show the things in the group. You can also name groups. New group by double clicking on the name. And if you notice, the pivot point defaulted to the middle of the grid. This can be super annoying if, say, you're over here and you have some grouped items together and then the pivot point's clear over there. A really good tool to have on your shelf is center pivot, and that's under Modify, Center Pivot. So you can Control Shift, click on it, and it'll put it on your shelf. Sorry, on my shelf, so I didn't do it. Okay, so this is a group. Okay, so say I didn't have the outliner window open, and I was like, oh, I want to select my group. Wait, how come it's not letting me select my group? Your group is not selected here. You have three separate objects selected. Something to keep in mind. If they turn white, that means they were selected previously, and this is the green one is the last object you selected. If you only have one selected, then it's green. The only way to select a group is your outliner window. So you select your group, and then they're all green because it's treating the group as one object. So you can do things like you can rotate the group as a whole. If I selected just these three objects, they would rotate individually. So that's kind of a different behavior between the two things, and the only way you can select a group is here. Edit, ungroup. Another thing you can do is what's called parenting. This can be nice if, say, you're making a large object that has some different pieces to it that you don't want to be able to, that you want to select every time you select the larger parent object. So if I select this and then this, and I hit P, it will parent it to the last object I selected. So as you can see, the P. So like with a group, if you selected one of the members of the group, it didn't select the group. But if you select the parent, it will select both, and they will act as one object. So it's something to keep in mind. Also, you can achieve the same effect by middle-clicking clicking and dragging onto an object and that you want to be the parent. So now I have these three objects in my parent-child group. And to unparent them, to select, I just clicked and then shift select the other one, and I middle click and drag out until the little dotted line is in between the shapes. Because if I highlight a shape, then that will become the new parent. So it's in between the shapes, it drags it out of the parent-child relationship. And okay, so that's just something to keep in mind for later. Groups can be handy, and so can parent-child relationships. You probably won't have to use it too much in your first assignment, but the outliner is a very good window to have open. At home I have 3 monitors. I have the hypershade and the outliner window open on one monitor. I have my rendering view on my other monitor, and then I have my modeling window on my main monitor. So I always have my outliner open. It's a good idea. So yeah, that's the basic outliner window. Everything shows up here, and I mean everything you add to your scene. Lights, objects, particles, bones, joints, you name it, it shows up. The only things that don't are textures. Those only show up in the hypershade window. Whoops. The hypershade window. So, something to keep in mind, and I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next video.